Welcome into Texas at the Voice of College Football. I am one of your hosts, Joshua, and I am joined by former NFL player B. Ross. B. Ross, how you doing today?
I'm good, Jay Watt, man. I'm happy that we're playing a game this week.
Yes, big old long bye week. It's felt like it's been about a year and a half, but we got a couple of things we're going to talk about. We got some predetermined topics towards the end. If we have some comments or some questions, we'll go ahead and answer those towards the back end. With that said, B. Ross, let's get started with the game against the Florida Gators. What are your keys to getting a victory over Florida?
Okay, this is going to sound very redundant and repetitive, but on offense, we have to be able to run the ball and protect the ball. No turnovers. Not one. Like, we have to protect the ball. We have to be able to run the ball because, to me, that opens up everything else. Then on defense, we have to be able to create pressure with 4 on that offense and minimize penalties. Offense, defense, special teams. We have to cut down on penalties. We get penalized at such a high rate that when we play to me, Florida isn't a terrible team. Like, they've had bad outings versus some very good teams, but all in all, like, they're not a bad team. So don't be confused by that record. So penalties will be big in this game. We can't have the same penalties that we had versus Ohio State, UTEP, everyone, honestly. Like, we have to cut down on penalties. So that being said, run the ball, protect the ball, pressure with 4, and minimize penalties. How about you, Josh?
Yeah, I think you basically nailed some of the things I was going to say. I'm kind of looking at some stats here, and I'm looking at this Texas defense. Number 2 in opponents' points per game, 20th in opponents' red zone scoring percentage. This is one of the best defenses in college football. My big concern: Florida has a good defense too. They've held some competent opponents to limited amounts. Their offense is really what's been holding them back. DJ Lagway, multiple interceptions, not being able to run the football well, and not being able to get the ball to playmakers. My concern for this game is that I could see this game getting into like a muddy, physical, just almost like sloppy game where it's more defensive oriented more than offensive oriented. And I know Texas can get out of that, but we haven't had one with Arch Manning where we had to play like that. So I worry about that. And I think the thing for me that is going to be a key to actually getting this win is the offensive line having success. Florida has genuine dudes on the defensive line that can absolutely go. And if you can't push them or if you can't block them, they will get after Arch Manning and they will make it uncomfortable for them. So I think Texas defensively will show up. I think DJ Lagway is just not a good quarterback. And I just have no concern when that Florida offense takes the field. I just have no worries. I do worry, though, about what does this offense on the other side for Texas Longhorns look like. So, no, I think a good kind of, way out of this, would you say that this is a game where you kind of just unleash Arch a little bit, let him run?
I think every game we should let him run in terms of design runs. I'm talking about short yardage red zone primarily, because those are where, if you watch the Oregon game, that's where Dante Moore was most effective. Third downs, red zone, short yardage with his legs, right? When we talk about Arch and what he's best at, why not do what he's best at? You know what I mean? Until everything else comes along, do what he's good at. So I would love to see that, but I think a lot of that will have to do with whether CJ Baxter and Trey Wisner are back to, their form, or if they even play at this point. So
yeah, it does sound like most of the guys are going to be coming back for this one, at least you would think. I mean, I heard some reports with the Sam Houston game that if it was Georgia, Texas in that week, you could have got Trey Wisner to give you some snaps. So so you have to think he'd probably come back for this one. In terms of how big of a role, not too sure. But yeah, I also agree with you. I think that this is a game, again, I kind of mentioned it earlier, where I do think it's going to be quite muddy. I think it's going to be a very low scoring affair. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope Texas blows them out 40-0. But just from what we've seen, we have not seen Arch against a good opponent play that type of football. So I do expect Texas to really open up the offense. And I think a good way to get Arch into the game a little bit would just be by doing those design runs. And when you do those design runs, I do think it sort of gets that extra thought into those really good defensive linemen's head. Where if I'm an edge rusher, instead of crashing hard on a Trey Wisner, maybe Arch pulls it and he goes for 15 yards, and that really makes things difficult there. So that just makes things a lot more complicated for the defense. Remember that play last year when we went up against Florida and we had Isaiah Bond? We had like this crazy trick play where multiple guys were in the backfield. Yep. Texas had a bye week. I would not be surprised if they have like
something's coming. Absolutely.
3 or 4 just crazy trick plays similar to that one that I could see going for big plays. And that might just be the difference. Maybe Texas base offense just is not functional and they can win this game with some trick plays. So I think there's a lot of ways that Texas can win, but I don't really know how Florida can win this game. So it really is tricky. But is there anything on the Florida offense that gives you any pause? Is there any concerns you have there?
No. No.
Yeah.
Mainly because DJ Lagway is who I thought he was even last year when everyone was hyping him up. As a scout, I tend to tune out all the noise, just watch the tape. The tape told me this guy is not that good, right? He's talented in terms of physical ability, but we talk about physical execution of that talent, he's not there. He's not even close. So I'm not concerned I'm really not, because our defense is like top five in third down percentage, points, yards. Like we're consistent over that side. The only thing I need from us this game and here on out is a consistent pass rush and turnovers. If we create 2 turnovers, this game will win by 2 scores. Guarantee it. Guarantee it. Because our offense feeds off our defense. Defense comes out and they're firing on all cylinders and they're getting the ball back. The offense at this stage of the season, I think, because they've gotten some more confidence, they got to gel a little bit. I think our offense will turn those into points. So honestly, nothing on that Florida offense concerns me. I just think we just have to do what we do well on defense in terms of playing tight coverage, rushing the passer, keeping everything in front of us. Like the best thing we've done this year, outside of one play, we gave up one really bad explosive on a defense, that was versus Ohio State. Yeah. That was on play, and then even then, that was actually great coverage by Gilbo. It was just a better catch. So, with that being said, if we do what we're good at and just do that, guess what? We'll beat them by minimum 2 scores.
Yeah, and the thing too, this Texas defense, they do have a tough matchup on the offensive line. They got Austin Barber, who could be a day 2 pick in the draft. You got Jake Slaughter, who's, a total stud. But DJ Lagway just holds on to the football. He makes mistakes. I'm looking at the numbers here. They have a quarterback sack percentage of 7.08%, which is the 86th worst in the league.
Lord.
And then a 5.71% interception thrown rate, which is 130th in the league. So this is a game where, man, if you're a Michael Taff or a Gilbo or a Manny Muhammad, man, I'm playing quite aggressive in this one. Obviously you don't want to have a double move that goes for a big play that sparks some offense, but I wouldn't be surprised if you see the guys really just go after it, mix up the coverages, make DJ Lagway think, which is something that has made his life hard. Versus LSU, there was multiple times where, man, he's seeing cover 2, and then all of a sudden they turn into cover 3, and he's throwing it right into the arms of a safety or a corner. So get through that. And I think it's a great test for this defensive line. We haven't quite called their name so much so far this year, but man, Colin Simmons, Ethan Burke, Lance Jackson, all the dudes up the middle. Florida has a good offensive line. So while Florida may not be the greatest team in the world, they have dudes that can actually go. So you can figure some things out. These past 3 weeks, you haven't really figured anything out about this team because you've been beating up on, low-level Division I schools. Now you go up against Florida, which Florida has their offensive issues, but they got guys that will get drafted. They got plenty of them, at least 4 or 5 guys that'll go early. Somewhere in the first 3 days. So, it's a fun test for the Texas Longhorns, and I'm really excited to see what this interior does. I have another question for you in terms of quarterback. Let's say DJ Lagway goes out there first half. Sucks. 2 turnovers. Isn't playing well. Crowd is booing him. Do you think they go to Tramel Jones, the freshman?
Yes. Yeah.
Tramel Jones is interesting. He's coming off a broken leg or something like that from high school, which is tough. Yeah. But, he came in there and, only on 18 attempts, but he threw for 2 touchdowns and didn't have any sacks, no turnovers. With Napier's job on the line, I wouldn't be surprised.
That part.
He's desperate.
That part right there. That's exactly what I was going to say. Billy Napier is fighting for his job at this point. And a win versus Texas, a top 10 team, would, maybe save it for the end of the season, right? So it wouldn't surprise me if we see some two quarterback stuff, if we see Tramel Jones just get snaps to sprinkle in and change the tempo or change the look. Or to your point, if Lagway struggles and they're down 14 early, 10 early, 17 early, guess what? I think he gets pulled. Because again, Billy Napier is fighting for his job at this point. So why not go all in and just something to spark your team? That wouldn't surprise me, not even in the slightest bit.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like the OU game where they pulled Rattler for Caleb, and it's just like the rest is history.
Spark, it's like,
get that spark.
God.
I mean, all it would take for him is just a big throw that Tramel Jones makes, and the crowd will go nuts. I mean, the crowd will go crazy. So I do think Texas has to have that in the back of their mind. Tramel Jones is a good athlete too. He can run a little bit. He's not like explosive or anything crazy, but he can go for sure. In the receiving core, Verno Brown, he's their leading receiver with 18 catches for 219. No touchdowns yet on the season. They don't really got anybody else that's that intimidating. Their tight end's all right, but I'm not really overly concerned about that. This is a good test for the Texas Longhorns. Any other last thoughts here in terms of some keys to defeating Florida?
Yeah, because I was just looking at the numbers. Offensively, we have to be in third and manageable. Like, I'm talking about 5 or less. Like, I'm going to reference this game all night because I just rewatched it. Oregon, Penn State. When you watch how Oregon controlled the line of scrimmage, they ran the ball. And Dante Moore, how he played is how Arch has to play this year. Next year, be a 5-star all the time. But this year, manage the game. Take what the defense gives you. Run when you need to. Slide when you need to. Don't take unnecessary hits. Don't put the ball in harm's way. But when it's time to be a 5-star quarterback, guess what? Dante Moore was a 5-star quarterback. Arch Manning has it in him to go be that guy. We saw versus Ohio State where he made some throws where everyone's looking like, where was that the first 3 quarters? But with all that being said, Arch has to manage the game in his way. He has to manage it just by taking what the defense gives him in all facets. But more so on first and second down to keep Texas in front of the chains. Because once it's 3rd and 8+, that Florida defense is good. So we don't want to put him or put ourselves in that situation. So what do? You run on first or second down on first and 10. If nothing's there, don't throw it away. Run and get 4. That's a win on offense, right? So I think our third down offense is going to be pivotal just because we're so bad right now. We only have 19 conversions out of, I think, 58 attempts. You know what I mean? Like we're 102nd in the nation. So third down's going to be pivotal because that defense is good. Like we need 24 points from the offense.
Yeah, I like the point you made there a little bit about you don't need to be a 5-star in some of these games. When you look up the top schools in the AP poll, Ohio State's got Julian Sand, Oregon's got Dante Moore, Miami's got Carson Beck. Those guys are more Mike Conley, Chris Paul than Steph Curry, right? They don't. They're just playing their role. They're just doing their job, and that's kind of what you need from Arch. Obviously, it'd be nice if you had a Johnny Manziel or Tim Tebow sort of guy, but right now with the landscape of college football, you really don't need that. I mean, Texas is so loaded with talent that it's just like, can we find a guy that can distribute the ball and put it in the right places and give us some chances to win the game? And if Arch can just be that, which I think we saw a little bit in the Sam Houston game, I mean, that's perfect. So I like the point you made there. Florida's a tough opponent. This will not be an easy game. They got plenty of talent, but all in all, those were our keys to defeating the Florida Gators. All right, let's go and move over now. Let's talk about some X factors for the Florida game. X factors for the Florida game. B-Ross, who you got?
My X factor for the Florida game.
Start off with the offense for the Texas Longhorns.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go with the entire O-line. They have to play they have to play how they did versus Ohio State. That was their best game. Which is crazy to say because we played 3 weak opponents and Ohio State was our best game up front. So that means cutting out the penalties, right? Holding, the false starts, all of that. We have to get rid of pre-snap penalties, and then we have to start. I mean, and this is a challenge, right? But we have to move people up front because we have to be able to run the ball. As pretty as this offense is and can be in terms of throwing the ball up top, it's predicated on getting the run game going. That's why you have CJ Baxter and Trey Wisner and all these young talented 4-5-star running backs, because it's predicated on running the football. That's how this offense is built and structured. So our offensive line is, to me, is the biggest X factor in the game. They have to move people, create lanes so that we can get that run game going, so that Arch isn't throwing the ball 35, 40 times. If we can keep his pass attempts under 30, we'll win this game. Sure.
Which of the offensive linemen do you think is the most important? Is it Gooseby?
Brandon Baker.
Interesting. Well, why do you think it's Baker?
Because he's struggled the most. He's been the most inconsistent, right? In terms of penalties, overall play at times where he's sliding the wrong way in protection, or he's just getting beat, whatever the case may be. To me, he has to own that challenge and step up and play his best game this year, because this would be one of the better D lines we've played since Ohio State. And to me, that would be a big confidence booster going into another big game following that one. You know what I mean? So I think this is his chance to prove that he should be there in that position as a starter, and and get all of us, all the critics, off his back.
Yeah. I think for me, obviously, I would also say offensive line is for sure one. Trevor Gooseby has a big day versus Tyreek Sapp. We'll get a lot of runs against him. For me, I got to go Trey Wisner. I'm assuming he's going to be there in the game. I mean, it kind of goes.
Why Trey?
Because I think Trey's your RB1. I just think he's the best running back you have right now. I mean, if it's James Simon who has to start this week, if Trey Wisner can't go, then all of a sudden, we got a bigger conversation here. But if we're assuming Trey does go, which I think he will, I think he'll be your RB1. I think he'll get a pretty heavy load of work here, and I want to see him go. I mean, he looked really good versus Ohio State. You talked about that was the best game from the offensive line. I think the offensive line can get some push, and if they can get some push, I want Trey to hit them, and I want them to go. I want him to be a leader out there. I mean, he's one of the vets on this team, so Trey would definitely be one for me. I'll go in and get the obvious one out of the way. Arch Manning. Just got to play good football. I mean, it's kind of the obvious X factor, but Arch is genuinely the X factor. I think both these quarterbacks are. I mean, if Lagway has his breakout game, then that changes everything. But this is a good game for both these quarterbacks to try and prove who they are. For Arch, you've struggled throughout most of the year. You got going a little bit in the last game, but let's see if you can work off that. You had the bye to reset, calm down. You're going to be in the swamp. It's going to be loud. They're going to be crazy, but if you have a good first quarter and if you can shut up that crowd is going to turn on Billy Napier so quickly.
Real quick.
And all of a sudden, they might be cheering for Texas by the end of the game and booing Billy Napier out the building. So getting a good start right there would be huge. So I'll take the Arch one. I'll let you handle you can talk about the receivers. I'm sure you got one in there.
I need to see Parker Livingstone be wide receiver 1. Just in terms of his connection with Arch, I think that's real. Like, I think he's a guy who I don't think Sark has to necessarily get him the ball in his spots. I think Arch knows where he is in pivotal moments or when he needs to play. So I would like to see that connection get going, because I think Wingo is going to have a good game. Let me put that out there. I do think he's going to have a big game. But in terms of Arch being, to your point, playing a clean game, playing efficient, and staying on schedule, just all the things that we need from Arch, I think that's for Parker to help him with, because he's reliable, sure hands, he knows how to get open, he can work all areas of the field, and again, they have a connection. And I'm gonna throw Jack Injuries in there, because he's gone kind of missing the last couple of weeks in terms of targets, in terms of production. So I think those two guys are his comfort safety nets, right? 3rd and 6, need a play. It's designed to go one way, but he knows he has a guy who's going to get open. He has a guy who can who can make the contested catch. Like, I think those two guys are big for Arch in terms of playing efficient, clean football. So yeah, those would be my two guys. Like, I would want to step up because I really do believe Wingo's going to have a big game coming off last week or 2 weeks ago, because again, confidence and timing looks way better with Arch now.
All right, so the big X factor for you is going to be offensive line. For me, it's Troy Wisner. Injuries, Livingstone also thrown in there too, and of course, Arch. Now flip over to the defensive side of things here. There's a couple X factors you can go. For me, I'm going to go Michael Taft. You're the veteran back there.
Interesting.
You're somebody.
Safeties.
I just look at this game and I say, you're going to have chances to get a ball. You're going to have a chance to get some picks. I mean, Lagway's going to give you opportunities. I want to see this Texas team which they typically, they disguise things here and there. They're not one of the crazy disguise coverage type of teams, but I do want them to put that a bit more into the system. I don't think you have to blitz too much. I think you can get home with 4, but I want us to disguise certain looks, get DJ Lagway thinking, and I'm sure they definitely will, because that's where Lagway struggles. Yeah. So I think Michael Taft is going to have plenty of opportunities to, have chances out there. Same thing goes for, whoever might be at that other safety spot. So, but I'm going to specifically go with Michael Taft because he has played well so far this year. He's been, what you need him to be. He hasn't really made those splash plays like he did last year. I think this could be a game where he gets 1 or 2 big plays, maybe a forced fumble, maybe a pick, and just kind of changes the complexion of the game here. So I'm going to go with Michael Taft.
Oh, I actually like that pick. That's who I was kind of leaning towards, just because you really haven't heard his name that much, right? Like, he's there. Yeah, but and then again, like, I know from playing safety, it's actually a good thing that we haven't said his name, because that means he hasn't been getting beat. If you really don't make plays and you're not getting beat, you're actually playing good. So, so I definitely like that pick. But I'm gonna go with a guy everyone is super high on because he's talented, but I still haven't seen it. It's Colin Simmons.
Yeah,
he has to show up and dominate.
Yeah,
like. So even if he's standing up and he's spying Lagway and he's rapping to him, he has to make the layups, right? Like, you talk about that with Arch. He has to make the plays he's supposed to make. As like, that Florida O-line is good and they're talented at different spots. But when you have the luxury of having Ethan Burke, Trey Moore, Anthony Hill, Brad Spence around you, and all those interior guys, right? He's going to get favorable matchups when he rushes. He has to win. Like, not the quarterback's role. No, beat your guy. Beat him up. Like, to me, this is a like, he needs a dominant game. He hasn't had one. Not one. Like, he hasn't. To me, he's been null and void. And for a guy who gets so many snaps and so many opportunities in terms of weaker matchups, because Pete does a good job of standing him up, have him as a spinner, working on guards, he's not winning enough for me. And I think in order to take this defense to the next level of, like, elite, from being very good to elite, we need a guy who has to get double teamed.
Yeah, so and he has a tough matchup versus Barber. He's going to go up against him quite a bit, and that's a great opportunity here to get your money, man. You want to get paid, you want to go to the league, beat up on a guy that's going to be in the league. So, huge game for him. I'll throw another one at you, Anthony Hill. I know I'm going with the big name guys here, but I kind of feel like this is one of those games where you want your dues to show up. I'm going to kind of stick with what I was talking about with Taft. I think Anthony Hill could get some opportunities to get a ball, force some fumbles. This is a very turnover-prone Florida team. I think Hill's going to have plenty of chances there. We saw the dude knock out a guy with his fist. I'm sure he could do that again. So I just want to see Anthony Hill go. I'm sure this is going to be a heavy running attack that Florida's going to try to do early on. I think they're going to try to, overpower us, put their will on us, run downhill, and then eventually kind of just ease Lagway into the game. If they're going to try to do that, you gotta hit them back. You got to be aggressive. You got to get downhill, plug in those run holes. And obviously Anthony Hill is one of the best in the country at doing that. This is a big game for him, though, just to be, in some ways, if Hill has a bad game, I can see Florida getting some things going offensively, especially in the run game. The good thing is Texas has so many great linebackers that, if Anthony Hill struggles, you could throw 2 other guys in there. They'll be fine. But big game for Hill. I want to see him have a turnover, lead the team in tackles, maybe get a sack. That'd be nice.
So to piggyback off that, the guy I think who's actually going to have a big game is Leona Lafau.
Yeah,
this is his kind of game. Run at me if you want to. Like, he's strong at the point of attack. He plays with good eyes. He knows how to use his hands. He's very instinctive. Like, these are his type of games. He's not a guy where a team's going to throw it 45 times and you want him out in space a lot. No, but he is good with that. He gets his role, which I think is why first, second down, when you're talking about them trying to run the ball, I think he is a hole filler. He can plug the hole. He plays with violence. Like, I really like him as a football player because he plays the game the right way. So I think he has a chance to your point. DJ Lagway puts the ball in harm's way so much that tips, overthrows, like the ball is like, we're going to have ample opportunities. We just have to capitalize on them. But I'm expecting a big game from a guy who loves being physical.
Yeah, you talked about the tips. I want to see our defensive linemen get their hands up. The second they see that ball coming, put your hands up, and that's an easy pick right there. So, we got. So your biggest one was Colin Simmons. My biggest one was Michael Taft. We also talked about Anthony Hill, Leonga Lafau. Any comment on the corners? Gilbo, Manny. I mean, I feel like their job is kind of simple here.
Honestly, no, because we play so much like cover three match, a little bit of cover two. So like their jobs never really change in terms of what they do, right? So I just think, again, we just have to play top down. Don't give up explosive plays. And if Florida scores, make sure it's a 12, 15 play drive. Make them earn it. Don't give up cheap plays. Don't give up cheap touchdowns. But to that point, I think that's what we've been really good at this year. So I'm not too concerned. I just like, my fear is they come out running the ball heavy and the corners get lulled to sleep, because it happens, because you get bored out there. If you just keep backpedaling, then you got to come tackle this dude and you're not getting any balls thrown your way. It is boring as a corner. So I just want the guys to play, again, top down and just take care of business the way they have. I mean, I really don't have anything negative to say about them. They've been playing lights out to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to go out Grayson Littleton a little bit. I mean, almost every team has. I think he's one of the more targeted corners. So want to see him play some good football. But you guys let us know in the comment section, who's your X factor versus Florida. All right, guys, real quick, I'm going to interrupt the show and just sort of talk about, we got merch. Voice of College Football has merch. We got hats. We got shirts. We got collared shirts. We got a trucker hat. I think we have some sort of cup as well. So make sure you guys check this out. There's a link in the description where you guys can get that. We got to get some merch, man. I know you keep talking. I talked to Mark about the cowboy hat.
I know. I just need the logo.
I know.
That's it. Guys. I get the logo and
just print one out.
I could.
Yeah. Anyways, let's go ahead and talk now. I got a bit of a conversation point here. Is Texas falling behind in the SEC? Now, the SEC, we've seen a lot of teams play. We haven't seen Texas play a single SEC opponent, but it feels like the conversation on Texas right now in the SEC is that they're no longer a contender. It almost feels like Ole Miss, Bama, Georgia have moved in front of us. Mm-hmm. But is that true? Is that the case? Really quickly, I do want to bring up the standings here. Ole Miss is number 1 right now. They're 3-0. They have some big wins. Missouri, Vanderbilt, they'll be 2-3. Oklahoma 4, A&M at 5, Bama 6, LSU 7, Tennessee 8, Georgia 9, South Carolina 10, Texas at 11, but they haven't played a single SEC opponent. So, from your perspective, with what we saw this past week, where we saw Ole Miss get a huge win, we saw Missouri play really good football, they have been playing good football all year long. Vanderbilt's playing great. Bama with a big win versus Georgia after dropping to Florida State. A&M has looked good. Oklahoma's looked good. Tennessee has shown legit life on the offensive end. And we know Georgia's Georgia. As we sit here today, Texas hasn't played in the SEC, so it's a little bit unfair. But we know what our schedule holds. Do you feel like Texas is behind, especially when you compare it to what our expectation was?
I say no, honestly. And the reason I say that is because it's not like any of these teams are like just playing really good football. Ole Miss didn't play good. LSU, first off, solid football team, but they're not as good as no one is as good as advertised right now. Like that's just what it is. Georgia isn't. Bama beat Georgia, but that's the same Bama team that lost to Florida State team that lost to Virginia. Like again, this is college football at its finest, so I'm not worried about it in that regard because all right, we got Florida this week. Then we got Oklahoma. Well, Oklahoma hasn't played without their new quarterback. Materials done. Okay, all right. So now we look at Kentucky, Mississippi State, Vanderbilt is our next probably real test. But if they go and get watched by Bama, is Vanderbilt the same Vanderbilt team? You know what I mean? So I'm not too concerned in regards of falling behind just because we haven't played an SEC game. Like we know how to play good opponents, and our defense to me is very, very, very good. And that was shown week 1 versus a pretty good Ohio State team. But yeah, I just don't believe in it because it's not like anyone's playing like dominant football. No one in the country is playing dominant football. Not one team. And so I would argue that just on the simple fact that they blew a 14-point lead in one quarter. That's not, you know what I mean? That's not dominant to me. Dominant, they would have put Penn State away, beat them by 20, walked out with smiles, but they went into overtime. So that's why I say no one's really playing dominant football across the board. Georgia defense nowhere near as good as they were in the past. Bama is up and down week to week. So to me, Bama got up for that Georgia game. They had a bye week and then they went to Georgia. They got up for the Georgia game. Let's see how they are rest of the year. LSU, to me, wasn't that good. Who did they really beat? They beat a sorry Clemson team, and then they struggled versus La Tech, and they beat some other schools. Ole Miss is probably one of the better teams because they've beaten some quality teams. But then they have their own quarterback issues where, week to week, we don't know who's going to start. Chambliss is a good player, but can he go win the SEC right now? I don't know. Oklahoma, no one knows. Auburn, the best team, honestly, is probably Texas A&M.
I think A&M might have the most impressive win against Notre Dame.
Right.
I mean,
exactly. My point exactly.
You're kind of talking about it, and I was thinking about this too as you were talking. I'm like, Ole Miss is ranked number 4, but man, I mean, they barely beat Arkansas. They beat a good Tulane team. I'll give them that one. They beat a LSU team that, I mean, they have no offense in LSU right now. Their quarterback is banged up. They can't run the football, and they beat them by 5.
Exactly.
So there's that. Georgia, they have all the defensive questions in the world. Their offense doesn't have the same juice it used to have. Though they definitely
can't run the ball.
Moments. Yeah, they can't run the football out. They definitely have moments, though, Georgia does. So it's Georgia. They're well coached. They're going to be a tough team. Bama is just, I mean, who knows what Bama is? I mean, week 1 to week 4, it's just like polar opposites. So this Vanderbilt game, I think, will tell us a lot.
Exactly.
I kind of agree with you with the A&M take. I mean, you can't say Texas is the best team in the SEC right now because we haven't versed nobody and we've lost to our one test versus Ohio State. But you look at A&M, I mean, they might be the one team that has passed every test. I would also throw Tennessee's name in there too. Their schedule's pretty easy.
Like it.
They lost to Georgia. Yeah, they lost to Georgia. They can score. Their defense has some question marks, but they should be getting a little bit healthier. So I like their path quite a bit. So to answer the question, do I think Texas is falling behind? I would say the answer is no, because I don't think there's a team out there in college football, even outside the SEC, that scares me as a Texas fan. I mean, I'm not saying we're going to win a championship or beat every team.
Exactly.
But I think we can beat Ohio State. We lost by 7 against them. I'm not a big believer in Julian Sayin. I think he's a fine quarterback. He's not special.
Nope.
I look at Miami. I don't trust Carson Beck to save my life.
Not even a little bit.
I think the second Colin Simmons gets a hand on him, that dude's going to throw an interception. So I'm not worried about Miami, though they're a good team. Penn State, we know they can't win big games. Oregon is a good team, and they're well coached. They're the one team that gives me worries.
Right, but Oregon, to me, falls in line with most teams in the SEC, where like they're like they have their moments and they're pretty good, but it's nothing dominant where it's like, oh, no one can stop this run game or no one can stop. Like, no, they just they're a well coached physical football team. They can rush the passer, they can stop the run, they can run the ball. You know what I mean? They have talent on the edges on both sides of the ball. Like, yes, like to me, like that's probably one of the better teams. But again, when I talk about dominance, when you look at the past 5 to 7 years of just teams who were dominant, like even in conference play, they were blowing teams out. Now all the games are getting closer, but that's mainly due to the portal and probably due to, just guys being able to leave after a year or two. So yeah, I'm not worried Texas is falling behind. I would be worried if we lose to Florida.
Oh yeah, I mean if Texas loses to Florida, I'm worried. I'm saying A&M. I don't know if we're beating them. If Mateer's there for OU, that one comes dicey. But yeah, you kind of talk about past champions, like when Michigan won. Michigan was a dominant team. Even Ohio State, maybe not dominant last year, but had a dominant playoff run for sure. LSU 2019, all those Georgia teams, all those Bama teams, some of those Clemson teams, those were dominant teams,
dominant football teams, right?
I kind of am in agreement here. If there is a team that I think can elevate itself to becoming dominant, it would be Ohio State, it would be Oregon, and it would probably be, if Arch gets going, maybe Texas, but that's a big if. So right now I'm just looking at Ohio State and Oregon as like those potential dominant teams. Yeah. But it isn't like Ohio State's blowing teams out. They're kind of just playing with their food at times. And again, Texas probably should have won that game in all reality. So there's that. And then you talk about Oregon. I like Oregon quite a bit. I'm really interested to see them if they ever face Ohio State. That'll be a really fun matchup. So
yeah.
But in terms of just the SEC, I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, do you have a hard schedule or not? Because if you have an easy schedule, you might be able to cruise your way.
So, and then like easy is kind of a choice. It's a very because South Carolina is still a good football team.
For sure.
Right? Like at any moment, Lenore Sellers can decide to be the best player in college football. And Mississippi State is a really good football team that should have beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
They should have beat Tennessee, so it's like, okay. And if you're considering those easy games, it's like, well, shoot, it's not as easy as it looks on paper, right? Then you got Missouri sitting at 19. And you got Vanderbilt sitting at 16, where you're like, on paper, yeah, easy. But then we watch the tape and watch how teams try and match up to what they do. It's not easy. That's why Bama lost to them last year. So
yeah, I guess easy may not be the right word, but like lighter. I don't know.
I know what you mean.
No.
I know exactly what you mean. It's just when you look at it on paper, it's really not like you can't take a week off. Like you can't come out slow any 1 week, because if you do, you're liable to ruin your season.
So if hypothetically Texas were to lose, I'll give you a stretch here. Let's say Texas loses one of these next 3 games. They lose either Oklahoma or Florida or the game after that. Then do we revisit this conversation and say, yes, Texas is falling behind? Or do we say the SEC is so crazy that anything could happen as long as Texas handles their business versus Georgia, A&M, and the rest of the competition? We're fine? Or do you have that conversation?
I wouldn't. It depends on who we lose to. Honestly,
let's say we lose to OU. Mateer comes back, hypothetically.
We're fine.
Okay.
We're fine. Because
Florida. What about Florida?
No, we are not fine. Because to me, Florida isn't nowhere near as good as OU or a Georgia. Like they have talented pieces, but as a unit, as whole units, like they're not as good. That's why I think like the line is like 6.5. We should cover that plus some more. They're not good at football together. Individually, they got some studs, right? To your point, they got draftable guys, like high draftable guys. Cool. As a unit, I don't trust them, which is fine because I'm not rooting for them. So that would be more concerning. Or if we lost to Kentucky, that would be concerning, right? Because that'd be a red flag.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Georgia, heck, even Arkansas, even though the defense is terrible, like those are quality football teams to where if we take care of business versus the teams we are supposed to beat on paper, and we beat OU or lose to OU, still won from Georgia, like going into A&M, it's first off, everyone's gonna have at least one loss in the SEC minimum.
Yes. I agree.
Minimum.
I do agree.
There will be no one undefeated in the SEC. I just don't see how. Right? Even with Texas, like Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Georgia, Arkansas, Texas A&M.
You're probably gonna lose one.
Like, if we don't, great. But that is a gauntlet of football because those teams are good.
Yeah.
Like really good, right? Even Arkansas just fired Pittman, which we talked about. Told you that was gonna happen.
You did. You got me.
But even then, but like on offense, they're still talented. They still can run the ball. They still have a talented quarterback. You know what I mean? So I just think honestly, if we can get past OU healthy and not have that be a slugfest, to me, that gives us even more confidence. Because when you look at what we did to OU last year,
yeah,
like everybody, like we kind of went like this till we met Georgia.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's that game that I'm circling, not because it's the rivalry, of course, but like just in terms of how we play. And to me, that'll tell me more about us than this Florida game.
I'll kind of my final thought here that I want to bring up. I 100% agree with everything you said. I do want to take one point though. So I talked about the past. Can we afford to lose a game these next three? I think the answer is no. I don't think Texas can.
The next three, no.
If we lose to Florida, OU, or Kentucky, that's tough because then I agree with you. I think there will not be exactly. Well, I think there's not going to be an SEC team that has 0 losses in the conference. Right. There's going to be at least one. But then after those 3 games, you got Mississippi State, which is a ranked team that is unranked. They should be ranked. They're good.
They should
Vanderbilt's really good. Georgia's really good. Arkansas's got a quarterback. I think Texas wins with defense, but they got a quarterback that can play. We'll see if he's healthy. And then the Aggies in week 14. So I think these next couple of games are like pivotal. You have to win these ones because you want to set yourself up to have some wiggle room down the stretch when you go up against a Vandy or Georgia. The nice thing is your back stretch of games are mostly home games. The Georgia game is away. That's going to be a rowdy environment, but everything else is home, which is good, especially Vanderbilt. I mean, I know Vanderbilt doesn't have the craziest fan base, but I feel like they can ride off the energy. And I don't want to face Vanderbilt right now. They're an intense team. But you talked about
want to face.
There's not going to be a single team that is undefeated, right?
No.
It's going to be kind of like the Big 12 where everyone's just kind of cannibalizing themselves, where every team is good and you're going to find a way to lose at some point.
Well, that's why who you lose to is definitely going to matter.
Yeah.
Like you have to lose a ranked game. If that team's not ranked, you can kiss the playoffs goodbye. Because on paper, but on paper, if you lose to Ohio State and Florida, those are your 2 losses. But then you got a team like Georgia who has the same record, but their losses come to Bama and who do they play later this year? If it comes to Bama and Bama Ole Miss or Bama and Georgia Tech, because Georgia Tech is a quality football team in the ACC. Like if they somehow lose 2 games to 2 ranked teams, there's no way they don't get in over us or have a higher seed. You know what I mean? It just to me, like if we lose a game, if we drop a game, it has to be to a ranked opponent. Because if not, them playoffs will get further and further away from us. Even though we have quality wins versus Texas A&M, it'll be quality win versus Vanderbilt. Cool, but who'd you lose to? Yep. So, So to your point, these next 3 games are pivotal, and really, if we go and take care of business how we can because of that defense, that's the one thing about Georgia. Their defense isn't good. So
not the secondary, it's not good.
Facing them is like, okay, that it takes on a different meaning because they can't cover how they have been in the past. So I would I'm tough. It is a gauntlet of a year in the SEC because teams who weren't supposed to be good are pretty good, and teams who were supposed to be good aren't as good. Like it's balance.
All right, guys, you guys let us know in the comments. Should Texas be worried that they're falling behind? Our answer is no, but you guys tell us down below. All right, the last thing we're going to talk about today, our positional panic meter. We're going to go through every single position, and I want to give us a scale of 0 to 10. How panicked are we within that position group? All right, we're going to start off with the offense. Start off with the big boys up front, the offensive line. 0 to 10, 10 being you're panicked, 0 being you're chilling. What are you at right now at this offensive line?
I'm at a 7. I'm at a strong 7.
Okay.
And I say that more so not because of ability or personnel, just because we haven't been executing. Like, it's no reason why we shouldn't have ran for 150, 200 plus yards a game versus San Jose State, UTEP, and Sam Houston State. Like, to me, we had an opportunity to get better and, clean things up, and we didn't. We kept making the same mistakes. We kept getting penalties. We kept missing blocks. So up front, I'm at a strong 7.
Now, is there a specific player that is putting you towards that 7, or is it just the unit in general kind of concerns you?
It's the unit in general, because those guys are one. All, you know what I mean? Like, from communication to how they move, how they step, like they have to be on cue with each other, how they work up to the backer in double teams. It's just not clean, and that's worrisome. But it's not totally unexpected. But it worries me that versus weaker opponents, we didn't come and perform up to the level that many thought we should. Yep.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to put together the receivers and tight ends, all our pass catchers. Receivers, tight ends. Oh, for me, by the way, my offensive line, I'm at like a 6. So you have a 7, I'm at a 6. We're about in similar range there. All right, pass catchers, receivers, tight ends. Right now for myself, I think I'm at a 4. I think that last game we got Wingo going. I like what I've seen from Livingstone. I think we'll just get better when Emmett Mosley gets more involved. I like what I've seen from Jack Andrews. I think we have some talented tight ends, Spencer Shannon, Jordan Washington, Nick Townsend. So I'm at about a 4 with these guys. Granted, if Wingo has a bad game versus Florida or doesn't have a big one, I think that does go up to about like a 6, maybe a 5. But for now, I'm at a 4.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. And like, to your point, I do think Wingo's going to have a big game, or I know he's going to have a lot of opportunities this game.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I need guys to start separating themselves, just in terms of who should be getting targets, who should be the primary. Like at some point, someone has to step up and say, "I'm the dog," and let's go. Right? Like I get it. We're all a team. We're all one unit. But at some point, someone has to separate themselves and say, when we need a play, the ball's coming to me. Everybody in the stadium knows it, and you can't stop me.
Yeah,
that's
like a Cam Coleman, Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, just and like not that we have the guys of like that caliber, but we do have talent. So, let's get to it. So, but to that point, I'm still only at a 4. I'm not too concerned. It's more so a challenge to just let's go. Like let's make the quarterback good.
Yeah. We know we have good players. We just need one of them to separate. We have a good group, maybe not a great group, but we definitely have the potential to get there. All right, let's talk about the running backs. I'll lead us off here. I'm going to put us at a 6 just because of the injury bug. In terms of the talent in the room, I'm at like a 2. I think this is one of the best running back rooms in all of the country. But CJ Baxter is having injury concerns. Trey Wisner is coming off of not a major, but a little injury. So if they're dinged up, especially if they can't go versus Florida, that does start to concern me, because I don't know if I can fully buy into Jarrett Gibson, Christian Clark, and James Simon in the SEC, whereas I can definitely buy in Trey. So I'm at where I'm at there, but I'm not overly panicked if these guys are fully healthy the rest of the year. So that's where I'm at. Where are you at, B-Ross?
I'm at a 5. And to your point, it's the injuries. But I know this room is talented, but we're young behind our top 2. But I know they are talented. So if Trey Wisner and CJ Baxter don't play, someone will have to step up and be the guy where we say, okay, we need 2 yards and we don't want to run arch for whatever reason. All right. Is it Gibson? Is it Simon? You know what I mean? So I'm not too concerned. I'm either way with it, mainly because of the injuries. and because these young guys haven't played versus this competition. So I'm waiting to see. I don't want to judge them, before they have the opportunity to put film on tape and show who they can be, maybe. So I'm at a solid 5.
All right, let's talk about the quarterback room. I think basically we just talk about Arch Manning here because I don't think anyone else will get playing time. One thing to note, though, I haven't seen Trey Owens go. I feel like Trey Owens is our quarterback 4, which is interesting. Arch Manning, I'll let you start this one off. Where are you at with Arch Manning after a slow start, but he picked things up in this last game? Are you feeling good? Are you feeling scared? Where are you at right now?
I'm at a 6 with Arch. And I say that because just the variables around him have to be right in order for him to have even a chance. O-line has to protect. Play call has to give him something he likes. Like, I'm very curious to see how Sark calls this game compared to the Ohio State game, compared to the UTEP game. Like, I want to see how he calls the game for Arch, because how he called the Sam Houston game, I thought it was how he should call the Ohio State game, just in terms of getting Arch in a rhythm and getting him in comfortable throws and situations. So, yeah, I'm at a 6 with Arch, and then ultimately Arch has to go do it. Arch has to do it consistently. Like, I want to see a game where he's efficient. Like, if Arch is 19 of 24, 19 of 27, that's a good game, because he probably threw for 250 plus, 2 or 3 touchdowns, 2 passing, 1 rushing, probably efficient. Like, we don't need Arch to throw for 300 yards, like, ever. Like, we don't need that. Why? Because we have a run game. He has legs. If we can get 300 total yards from Arch between passing and running, guess what? We win. We win the rest of the game. If Arch goes and averages 300 yards a game total between his arm and his leg, we'll be having a different conversation about how good we are. So, yeah. But I'm still at the 6 because he still has moments of WTF. Well, where were you throwing that? Why are you throwing that? So I need to see efficiency, consistency from him more than anything.
Yeah, I'll be at a 7.5 here. I've never been at a 10, even though I think a lot of Texas fans have been at a 10. I've never been at a 10. The highest I got was maybe an 8.5 to a 9. I want to buy into the Sam Houston State game, but there's always that concern of, well,
it was Sam Houston State.
It was Sam Houston State. So that's my reasoning. But if Arch comes out and plays like how he did versus Sam Houston against Florida, or close to it, then I'm back down to a 4 or 5. It's just I need to see him do it versus a high-level team. And in addition to Arch Manning, I don't know what we have in terms of backups right now. I think Matthew Caldwell's fine. I think he can get the job done. But, the other guys are just too young right now. KJ Lacey, Trey Owens, I don't trust them at all right now. Matthew Caldwell would be a little bit scary if he had to get playing time. So, yeah, I'm at a 7.5 with Arch. But if Arch plays well versus Florida, I'm chilling on that one.
I'm not worried about Caldwell because from what I've heard about him, he's not going to lose you a game.
Yeah.
He won't win you one necessarily, but like, he won't lose you a game by putting the ball in bad spots. He can make all the throws. You know what I mean? Like, he's what you want in your backup. He's athletic, not super talented in terms of arm talent, but he can get the ball where he needs to, and he does it on time. Like, very just cool. So I'm like, he doesn't worry me in that regard. And he's a senior. He's an older guy. He does have some experience. Granted, it's not in the SEC, but he does have experience. So that does help, opposed to having a true freshman or a true sophomore who hasn't played.
Fair enough. All right, let's go over the defense here. Start off with the big boys up the front. Let's talk about the defensive line. I'm at like a 2 with this unit.
Yeah, I have no issue with that.
Yeah, I would be at a 0 if it wasn't for the Colin Simmons thing not being particularly great so far this year, but I do think he'll get going. The interior has exceeded all expectations. Those dudes are just dominant up front. And we haven't even had Alex January fully healthy. Once you get him more involved, I think he's one of your better players up the middle. The interior has been really good, and they got a ton of depth there. And then off the edge, I buy into Colin Simmons. I buy into Ethan Burke. I buy into Lance Jackson, Zena, even Trey Moore, Brad Spence. I just think there's so many great players in that defensive line that I'm at a 2 with it, just because I want Colin Simmons to play better. But honestly, you could tell me a 1 or a 0 as well.
Yeah.
Where
I'm
you
with
at?
you. I'm at a 1 or a 2. It doesn't matter because, to your point, that interior D line is playing a lot better than what I thought they would.
Yeah.
Coming into the season, because it was young guys and a bunch of transfers. So, but now you watch them play, like guys are playing so well. Like I don't know, I would hate to be that D line coach in terms of who's getting reps, because like they're all playing at a pretty good level. Like guys don't get moved. They like they play physical. They know how to use their hands. They're fighting off blocks. They create interior pressure to where the quarterback has to flush. So, to your point, I just need to see more from my edge guys in terms of just production.
Yeah,
Rather
it was
run game or pass game. I just need to see more production from them.
it was funny when Texas lost Bo Davis. It was like the ceiling was falling. It was like, oh my gosh,
Mm-hmm.
Texas D line's gonna suck. Kenny Baker might be better. I mean, he is doing a well of a job
Ooh.
here at the interior. The scouting with these transfers, bringing in Justice Terry, Lance Jackson, all those guys. He's
Yeah.
just done a really solid job recruiting and bringing in these transfers. I mean, this is one of the best in the entire country in terms of defensive line. Let's move over to linebackers, where we have Anthony Hill, the Uncle LaFau, Anthony Smith, Bo Barnes, et cetera, et cetera. I think
Where
I'm
you
at a
at?
0. I'm at a 0. I don't think I have any worries here. I think Leonga LaFau has developed so nicely into like that
Yeah.
second linebacker that just eats up a lot of tackles. And we know Anthony Hill has a talent to be a potential day 1, day 2 pick in the draft. So I think
Yeah.
I'm at a 0 with this group, honestly. And I love the depth here too.
That's why I'm at a 0, because I think we have quality depth, not just bodies. Like we got quality depth. And we're versatile in who we can put out, what combination of 2 guys we can put out. If we go traditional 4-3 and put 3 guys out, we can do that. We can put Anthony Hill at Sam and move 2 guys inside so that Anthony Hill can play in space. You know what I mean? Like to me, this is our strongest room, top to bottom, because we have experience, we have size, we have speed, we have youth. You know what I mean? Like we cover all facets, and we have versatility. So yeah, I'm at a 0. I just these guys have been playing well. They've been communicating on a high level. They've been actually surprisingly really good in coverage.
Yeah.
And like not like in terms of like I thought they were bad, but like linebackers traditionally, like they are. I don't care who it is. They think they think they are better than who they are in coverage. But our guys do a good job of playing within themselves, not putting themselves in bad spots, and using what God gave them in terms of size, speed, and strength to get the job done. So, I'm at a 0. The linebackers.
Talk about the experience in this room. You got Trey Moore, redshirt senior, Anthony Hill Jr., Leonga LaFau Jr. If you want to move Brad Spence to an off-ball linebacker, he's also a junior. Anthony Smith is a sophomore. I mean, that's 4 or 5 guys there that are not freshmen, or
Exactly.
4 of those guys are 3+ year guys. So yeah, I'm at a 0 with this room. Maybe if an injury pops up, which of course, knock on wood, but even then, I think we have plenty of depth here. Let's move over to the secondary. I'm going to break this down into 2 categories. We'll start off with corner, and then we'll talk about safety here in a second. This is your domain, so I'll let you talk about the corners. Where are you at here with the cornerback room? Reminder, Manny Muhammad, Jalen Gilbo, Littleton, Kobe, Warren Roberson, Jordan Johnson, Rebel. Where are you at with this room?
Yeah, I'm at a 6.
Ooh.
And I'm there mainly because we haven't figured out who's going to be the guy on the opposite side. Because so as a DB, rotating is the craziest thing to me. Rotating corners is crazy to me, mainly because it's so hard for guys to get in a rhythm. Like I remember turning down playing time because I'm like, I'm not rotating. Neither one of us can get in a rhythm of how the game is being called. So it's about your matchup maybe, or it's about how the offense attacking you or just attacking the team. It's hard to see all of that or feel that when you're out of the game, or you're doing every 2 series and things like that. Like it's not realistic. Like it's not. Just like if you have 2 quarterbacks, you don't have one. If you have 2 corners in one spot, you don't have one. So someone has to. They either have to stop the rotating, or someone has to like take it to where you don't like rotating makes 0 sense. So I'm I'm at a 6 there, and I don't know where we are going to play Grayson Littleton. Are we going to play him inside? Or are we going to play him outside? If we play him outside, I'm a little worried because he's not as comfortable on the outside. I think he's way more comfortable inside, even though the game happens faster, which is it's crazy. But he looks more polished, comfortable, confident playing nickel than he does playing corner. So I'm at a 6. I'm not too worried, but I do have some concerns.
Yeah, I think I'm at a 4.5. I'm at about a 4.5. I'm always been a little bit higher on Gilbo. I think Gilbo's a fine player. The reason why I'm just slightly worried is that I do think we're quite young in the secondary right now. True. You got Muhammad, you got Gilbo. Those are your upperclassmen. Grayson Littleton's a true freshman starting for you. Kobe Black is a sophomore, and he was a developmental prospect he's developed nicely, but he's still developing. Warren Roberson is a redshirt sophomore. Cade Phillips, a freshman. Santana Wilson's a redshirt freshman. So I like the unit. I think there's a ton of talent in this room. I just don't – I personally worry that if you do take out Gilbo, then you're throwing out some guys that are a little bit younger. Yeah. And so that is concerning. And yeah, I do agree with you about the rotating bodies in. I mean, Manny Muhammad's going to be out there almost every play. But who's that guy opposite of him? Will it be Gilbo this play? Will it be Kobe this play? And, expanding on that thought about rotating bodies, does it affect your communication too? Because I feel like every player has their own sort of form of communicating. Would that be an issue for you?
So at safety, no, because I'm making all the calls anyway. So Taff and Jelani are making all the calls regardless. But it does help just in terms of chemistry. So I might have a corner. So I play with DJ Hayden. Give you a prime example from with the Houston. I love playing with DJ because before he'll do some stupid or crazy, like he'll just look at me and nod. I'm like, oh shoot, like whatever route, whatever move he gets first, he's gone. And like me knowing him, I could say and doing this in practice and training camp and just getting reps and reps of it because me and him communicate on a consistent basis. We get so many snaps together. I know when he starts doing certain like mechanics and things, he doesn't have to look at me. I just can look at his body and say, okay, all right, DJ is not about to do what DJ is supposed to do. So I have to be sure me and the other safety are on the same page. Hey, stay deep. I don't care what. Stay deep, so there is that aspect. That's why I was never a fan of guys rotating. Like, let a guy play, and if he plays himself out of the game, so be it. But the rotating, you're not giving the guy a chance, honestly.
Yeah, in case you guys wonder who DJ Hayden is, former Raiders cornerback. He was drafted in the first round, 12th over 13th, 12th overall, something like that.
12th overall.
Yeah, so DJ Hayden, great player. Let's talk about the safeties here. Jelani McDonald, Michael Taff, Phil Samid, Derek Williams. You got some freshmen in there too. I'm going to put myself at a 0 here as well. I think it's a great unit.
Yeah, I don't have any concerns. I actually love that they don't play. So they play field and boundary safety because of the college hash marks. Taff played the boundary last year. He's playing more to the field this year. Jelani's playing more in the boundary. And I honestly think that's because Jelani's stronger at the point of attack. So when you talk about tackling, a lot of screens and just run game goes to the boundary. I think Taff he has better eyes and instincts, so that allows him to play to the field and more pass coverage. But this unit overall is, to me, they're really good. Even though we have some youth, we do have experience. Again, we have versatilities. We have guys who can go down in the box. They can play dime. We have guys who can cover in the slot, who can play nickel. It gives us versatility, very similar to the linebacker room. I just don't think we have that dynamic athlete that the linebacker room has. But I do think this is a really good room. They're playing some really good football, honestly. And like watching it as a former safety, I get excited. It's boring to watch because some plays they just backpedal and stop. But overall, these guys are playing really good football. We don't give up explosive plays. We don't give up big plays. They make sure everyone's on the same page. So with that, I'm at a 0 with the safeties as well.
Yeah. I'm also at a 0. Jelani McDonald's developed so nicely. I mean, he's
Yes, he
big, strong, create turnovers. I think if you want to talk about a future guy that has that athleticism, Jonah Williams. I think one of those
Oh
guys
my
that
God.
has that freaky
Oh,
athleticism that could play back there. So, all in all, Texas defense is a lot lower than Texas offense, but we'll know a lot more about this team after Florida. You guys let us know in the comments where you at Texas panic meter right now. Go through each position. Let us know where you're at with them. All right, to close off the show, we did get a few comments. I'm going to go through real quickly. This is from GOJ. This game is going to define Texas. Talking about the Florida game. What are your thoughts on that one? Do you think this game versus Florida will determine who Texas is, or do you think it's just kind of how they play?
I think it will help push a narrative of what the voters think, how we play this game. More so than anything. Not like and like when I say that, I mean, are we dominant up front? Are we running for 100 plus yards? Are we does Arch not have any sacks, and does he play an efficient game? Like, how does the game look? I think it's more important in that regard than it is in the totality of the season. Granted, like we already talked about, these next 3 games are pivotal. So in that regard, yes, but just in terms of like, I think it's more so of how the poll voters view us, because remember, we played Sam Houston, we dropped like 3 spots. Then because of the losses, we moved up 1 or 2. So I think a solid performance in terms of being clean and efficient and playing good football will help the voters see us in a different light, where we might get a nudge over another 1-loss team because our losses versus the number 2 team in the country.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with you. I think it's just all depending on how we play in this one. So this kind of goes back to a conversation we talked a bit earlier. Just stay ahead of the chain, stay on schedule. We kind of went through all that. Anything you want to add to that in terms of, I think a good question is, how does Texas stay on schedule in this game?
Trey Wisner. We got to run the ball.
Yeah.
You got to think, you need 10 yards for a first down. You average 4 yards a carry and you run it twice. That's 8. That's 3rd and 2 on average. So we just need to average 4 yards a carry. And that's low key not good in college football. That's like below the average. The average is like 5.5, 6 yards a carry when you're really good at running the football. So we stay ahead of the chains by running the football. Heck, let Arch run it on first down. Let's get 5 or 6 cheap ones. So yeah, running the football is going to be pivotal. To
Texas is at 4.9 yards per rush right now, which is a little under 5. They're at 34th highest. That's pretty good. And last question here from Victor Carone. All questions will be answered in 10 days. If we lose either of those, we'll be far behind. So he's talking specifically about Florida and the OU game. These games are going to tell us a lot about Texas. I think the OU game will if Mateer plays, especially defensively. If Mateer plays and Texas locks him down, that tells me a lot about Texas defense. Regardless, though, Texas will be going up against a really special Oklahoma defense. So you can never take them for granted. That's a really solid unit.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if he doesn't play, everything will come back to how we play, how we present ourselves to the voters, how we win the game. Because if he doesn't play and we don't win, panic meter's on 10. 100% on 10, because the Hawkins kid is no way he beats our defense, right?
No.
All right. So yeah. So I mean, these next 2 games are pivotal, and really, to me, just in terms of confidence, like we can get big wins back to, if we go to Florida, beat them, win the rivalry game. To me, now you talk about a confident team who starts to really believe in the talent that everyone else saw.
Yeah, pride of the season. We're number 1 overall, and you win these 2 games. Here's the last question I'll throw at you. If Texas beats Florida handily, let's say 34-21. Let's say Texas beats Oklahoma with or without Mateer. Let's say it's a with Mateer closer game. Without Mateer, they blow them out. Assuming every other team in front of us handles their business, do you think that Texas would move in front of some of these other schools in terms of the AP poll?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because our only loss came opening weekend
to Ohio State.
Versus Ohio State in a game that we probably should have won.
I know. I feel like I'm a broken record when I talk about that game. Like, we probably should have won that game. But it's just the truth of it.
Yeah. So, yeah, we beat Florida handily, and we beat Oklahoma. I think we move into the top 3.
It depends what Miami looks like this week. They have a tough matchup.
Who do they have?
They have I'm forgetting. Florida State. They got Florida State.
They're gonna lose to Florida State. Calling it now.
Okay.
Calling it now. Florida State.
Yeah, it's at Florida State, which is a rowdy environment.
I know. But I was looking at the run game stats. Florida State's second in the country running the ball. Like, that's what they do. That's what they pride themselves on. And that quarterback, he's a baller. Like, it might not be pretty, but he makes plays with his legs, with his arms. Miami's gonna lose that game. So, first off, Miami's not good because they have Carson Beck at quarterback. I'm not a big fan.
Have you seen their schedule?
No.
They got Florida State this week. Then afterwards, they got Louisville, Stanford, SMU, Syracuse, NC State, Virginia Tech, Pittsburgh. After this Florida State game, they got 7 straight unranked matchups.
Damn.
So even if they lose this, they're in the playoffs because they're not going to lose to any of these teams.
You never know.
Maybe they lose. Even if they lose 2, I mean, if they're a 10-2 team, and let's say they win their conference, or let's say they're 10-2, sure. If they're 10-2 and lose in their conference championship, they're still probably make. Well, if they're 10-2 with the loss, so they lose to Florida State, they lose in their championship game.
They don't make it.
Really? All right.
I don't, and the only reason I say that is because if you don't win the ACC as bad as it is, like I have a hard time believing the voters would be like, oh, they have quality wins versus who?
Notre Dame.
1.
That's it.
Boom. Yeah. Then you're talking about the SEC. Pick a team. Pick a team that finishes with the same record, doesn't make the conference championship, but has the same record as Miami, but beat 2 or 3 ranked teams because they're in conference. That's why, like, Miami has to win everything.
Yeah, they have a cupcake schedule. A lot of these,
they do.
I mean, Penn State gets a little bit tougher, but a lot of these teams have cupcake schedules. That's why, like, if I'm a bad team, going in the ACC doesn't sound that bad. No. Even you put Mississippi State in the ACC, I think they win it all, or they at least come really close.
No doubt. You put Mississippi State, Tennessee.
Tennessee wins it all, no doubt.
I throw Missouri in there.
Yeah.
Those 3? Put them in the ACC. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of SEC teams you could throw in there. All right, guys, that's going to conclude the live stream. We appreciate you guys for being here. Stay tuned for Friday or Saturday's post-game live stream. We'll be live after the Florida game, giving you guys our thoughts. We'll also be live next Monday, and we'll be back next Tuesday.
We got a special guest next week.
Okay, go ahead. Give them the announcement.
I'm not telling who it is. Texas legend. We have a special guest coming on the show next week for the Red River Rivalry game. He'll be joining us next Tuesday. So tune in, because I'm not telling who it is. I'll tell you position. He played D-line.
Okay. All right. Well, we're teasing you guys. You guys stay tuned for next Tuesday. We got a special guest. Have a good one. Enjoy the Florida game. Hook 'em, guys.